What is the first thing that comes to mind when someone says corruption in the economy?
You're going.
I think corruption is any time where the person's initial beliefs are changed by something like power or money.
I don't know. The first thing that comes to my head is government.
Corruption in economy. I would say loopholes, because people are always trying to find loopholes in the economy on how to make a quick buck, and a lot of times it screws over other people.
I don't know enough about the economy to know how corrupt it actually has become.
A major root of the whole problem lies in Congress and how delicate it can be. That one weakness is what allows lobbyists to infect the system as a whole. So what is a lobbyist?
I really don't know.
Lobbyist is... No, I have no idea.
President Taft.
To me, a lobbyist is a person that represents a big company bribing someone else, like a major politician with heavy influence, in a vote that would favor them. Like yes on certain things that would give the company money, or no on like taxes on the company that would decrease their business.
So what is a lobbyist?
A lobbyist is somebody who works usually in Washington, D.C. Usually they work on behalf of another company or like a special interest group, and they talk to congressmen. In most cases, they have direct access to congressmen in a lot of instances, and they try to influence the congressmen to vote a certain way on various pieces of legislation. So they lobby on behalf of whoever paid them to talk to the congressman.
Right. So how do you think, or how do you know they influence legislation?
How do they influence legislation? Well, I mean, there's lots of various things you can look at online. 60 Minutes has done numerous stories on lobbyists over the years. YouTube has a few different clips, actually from 60 Minutes, where they interviewed some lobbyists. But they're able to do it because they're able to provide campaign funds, for instance, or tickets to sporting events or other types of gifts to the congressmen in order to basically, in a way, like buy their vote on whatever piece of legislation it could be. It could be big tobacco, it could be the NRA, it could be some big pharmaceutical company, it could be anything. It could be possibly like the financial lobby as well, in concerns to like the housing market and things. There's all kinds of different groups that lobby.
So, what is a lobbyist?
A lobbyist is a person who works for firms that have an interest in changing like legislation.
Okay, so how do they influence legislation?
Well, typically they take money from, like I said, a group. It could be from oil companies to farmers to, unions. But then they take that and they go to politicians and they say, to a degree, that we can offer you money for your political campaigns, if we can agree on certain things. So lobbyists basically, through using monetary funds, can influence the politicians to agree to the people they represent.
A lobbyist is someone hired by a company to influence legislation on behalf of a special interest. This is usually accomplished through gift giving, or to put it plainly, bribing. To give you an idea, here are the top 5 lobbyists and how much they spend annually. Pharmaceuticals, $3,036,124,697 annually. Insurance, $2,115,708,177 annually. Electric utilities, $1,952,296,090 annually. Oil and gas, $1,657,368,948 annually. Real estate, $1,180,696,581 annually. Lobbyists use the power of bribing to gain certain grounds in the legislative process, and has gained powerful leverage on Capitol Hill. For example, pharmaceuticals spend over $3 billion annually, double the amount of the runner-up insurance. They do this to allow full reign on advertising, labeling, and industrial goals. In his 60-minute interview, former lobbyist Jack Amberoff revealed that he gave gifts to legislators for not only votes, but also tax breaks favorable to his clients. Some gifts include football tickets, free 5-star dining, and even anonymous cash drops. But the best way to buy a congressman was to offer them a job which could triple their own salary. Lobbyists for the most part run the country, but are not all bad, and are even helpful. Many are former lawmakers and businessmen who understand how the Capitol works. They help guide legislation and for the most part are reliable informants. But let's not forget the corruption that follows, such as the recent recession in 2007, due to the real estate lobbyists. In conclusion, lobbyists have changed the way America is run. For the past few decades, we have suffered from the repercussions of corruption at the hands of lobbyists, but they are still necessary to keep the flow of legislation going and their vast knowledge and experience in Congress. But at the end of the day, the colors that matter on Capitol Hill are no longer red and blue, but the color green, because money does really talk.